Hello, 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 hello. This is just a practice using the live stream, which I have done for a while. So I'm live. If anybody wants to treat me like shit, you can. Hello. Ho, 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 ho. Is there any comments on this shitty live stream of mine? I quite like, I quite like this live stream shite.
But you won't be surprised that many postmasters tell us not to contact them, not to continue saying, you're trying to get us to come forward or present to us situations where we may have had losses or shortfalls. But a lot of postmasters simply want to move on. A lot of these victims, and that's a desperately concerning situation for us, is people need redress, and people, as I mentioned before, are having trauma, and it's something that I've had first-hand experience of observing, and indeed I was in this building yesterday with an MP and with a victim of the scandal, and she was mentioning or saying to me that the reliving of the last 10 days, because of the enormous amount of publicity, has been extremely stressful and traumatizing for many of those victims. I think we need to recognise that that is something that is going on at the moment. You're clearly wanting us to move through and accelerate through the redress is the most important thing that we can do.
I think the basically the excuse of not getting in touch with so close.
Every story has its hero.
This is where it begins.
Maybe it's time you find out who you really are.
I'm kind of a big deal around here.
You're fine, bit dramatic.
But you won't be.
Or legislation, and that's understandable because we all passionately in the Conservative Party want to deliver a deterrent that's going to stop the vote.
The rebel Tory MPs say it's not tough enough.
People want us to act finally and decisively on issues about immigration that have worried people for a long time.
Landlordism, it's the redistribution of income. It is the transfer of wealth.
This is a practice live stream. Hope people are watching it. Oh, there's a load of shite. Please make your comments.
From the wage class to the asset class.
Is there something intrinsically wrong about renting?
This is the moment when the dawn breaks and the curtain goes up on a new act in our great national drama. 3, 2, 1!
Brexit, 4 years on.
And what does Verizon say?
It says I've taken £2,032.67 more than I think I have.
And after the post office scandal, should the IT firm responsible get any more government contracts? Well, let's start with that story, the post office that we covered last week so fully, because the bosses of the post office and Fujitsu, the software company, are in front of the Business Select Committee. They've been there most of the morning. They're being quizzed about their role in the scandal that resulted in so many sub-postmasters and mistresses wrongly being sent to prison. Let's just have a listen to the excerpt where the chair of the Select Committee is quizzing Paul Patterson, who is from Fujitsu.
Do you accept that Fujitsu evidence was used to put innocent people in prison?
Yes, there was evidence from us. We did have we were supported by the post office in their prosecutions. There was data given from us to them to support those prosecutions, so yes.
You've not made any provision in those accounts for a contribution to the compensation, but you're telling the committee today that you believe there is at least a moral obligation for Fujitsu to contribute.
Yes, I believe there is a moral obligation, and I've already said that. I think it's also important that the inquiry deals with these very complex matters with all the parties involved.
Well, pretty candid there from Paul Patterson, and in fact that Select Committee is continuing with questions throughout the day. You can see the live pictures here. My opening question though to the panel is, in the meantime, should Fujitsu continue to be awarded UK government contracts, Rachel?
Clearly not. I mean, clearly there is a huge amount of legal work that has to go on. These are complex issues. But from my perspective, they are clearly at fault, as you've heard from the committee. And I'm sure the government are looking at that, but there are huge questions and red flags that have been raised there.
Right, do you agree? Because they certainly are in line for government contracts, because they are one of the, I mean, the terminology is they're one of the key suppliers, if not a preferred bidder, but they're one of the key suppliers of software for government contracts.
Well, I certainly think that Rachel's right, that this should be stopped and looked at very carefully. And I think further than that, following that extraordinary admission, I think the government should look and take legal advice as to whether it can pursue Fujitsu for the costs of the compensation, because otherwise these costs are going to fall on the taxpayer.
Ollie?
I think it's 150 contracts since 2019 awarded to Fujitsu. I mean, we've known about this scandal since 2009 when Computer Weekly started reporting on it. And frankly, it beggars belief that it's taken an ITV drama to make people consider the procurement process in government and think that perhaps we should be doing things differently.
Yes, I mean, you're absolutely right. I mean, whichever sort of timescale you use, Fujitsu has won 101 new contracts worth just over £2 billion since the initial legal ruling. So should there now be a full stop on Fujitsu being awarded any further government contracts or not?
Yes, when virtually any other company is in a position to provide this rather than Fujitsu, that should be the preference. I think that Financial Times has done some amazing reporting around this, that if you go back to the coalition government, they were trying to break off contracts with Fujitsu, not around the Horizon software specifically, but because other contracts were going badly and there were other issues with software. I think we have to look at the whole procurement process in its entirety, because government lawyers, according to the FT, said at the time, we can't actually